The Game Awards fucking suck. The host is an idiot. Nobody cares about most of the categories. All of the awards are selected by a committee, not by community voting, and everyone on that committee seemingly forgot that The Last of Us Part 2 was one of the most despised games ever released last year. And much like all of the other award shows last year, they seemingly forgot that they actually have to wait for the end of the year when all of the games are actually out. This is where I come in. You see, unlike this committee of theirs, I actually tend to critique games every now and then. Also, I actually play video games. In fact, I play a lot of video games, and that's why I decided to do this annual show, the Headhunter Gaming Awards, which will not only reward the good games, but will also reward the bad games. Which is why we have categories like Worst Game Developer, Worst Game Update, Worst Game. So, without further ado, let's do an award show where The Last of Us Part 2 doesn't win every single award ever created. Acknowledging the more significant game updates today. I'm not talking about bug fixes or anything, I'm talking about the really big content updates, not just DLC here. And there's actually a lot in this category. There's like 5 nominations. No Man's Sky Next Generation made a good game an even better game. Foxhole Arms Race added so many vehicles I haven't even seen them all. Subnautica Stranger Pings made the game almost complete. KSP Some Reassembly Required fundamentally changed the way that some people are going to play that game. But as impressive as all of those updates are, they can't even come close to comparing to the Fallout 76 Wastelanders update. This is not my Fallout 76 bias talking. I'm more thinking that this brought the game reviews on Steam from mostly negative to very positive. You got a brand new storyline, you got branching paths, you have a bunch of different factions, NPCs now litter the map, you have sharp and witty humor that I actually laughed at. You see, Fallout 76 was built on the thought process that they don't need NPCs and the players will just create all of the drama by killing each other, which backfired hopelessly when everyone was really nice to one another. Wastelanders breathed a lot of new, much-needed life into the game. And that is why it is the best game update of last year. Oh, and Steel Dawn was pretty good too, I guess. Despite the pandemic, I saw a lot of game updates this year, and surprisingly, most of them were good. The gun pings now. But there were still a few bad ones. For example, every single update that came to DayZ standalone. Because no matter what they do with that game, it is always just worse and somehow more broken. But surprisingly, that's not nominated this year. In fact, there are only 2 things nominated this year. The first one is putting Minecraft Steve in Smash, which is only on here because it is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life, and Destiny 2 Beyond Light, which is absolutely the winner of this category. Upon the release of the Destiny 2 Beyond Light expansion, the game is now just worse. Most of the planets have been removed, most of the strikes have been removed, all of the raids were removed, and most of the guns have been nerfed to the point where they are now completely useless. As a result, Destiny 2 is now just categorically worse. And what do we get in exchange? The fucking Cosmodrome map from Destiny 1, still with its shitty graphics and visual glitches galore. Oh, and I guess technically you get an ice planet which barely has anything on it. As someone who exclusively plays this game single player, I was pissed at this update, and I still am. Destiny 2 was in a really good place following their split from Activision and their coming to Steam on PC. Things were actually looking really good for them, and then they just threw all of that away. There were 9 light machine guns in this game, and now there are only 2 of them that actually work. This is all on top of Beyond Light's $30 to $60 price tag. Basically, we paid for them to remove content from the game. And for those reasons, Destiny 2 Beyond Light is the worst game update of 2020. that first moment when you pick up the BFG 9000 in Doom Eternal is not the winner of this category because Doom 2016, it felt way better. Fact is, the competition here is too great. The ending of Half-Life Alyx basically set the internet on fire so much that people still don't want spoilers for that. There was this one mission in Ghost of Tsushima where we have to sneak into a town, and I haven't stealth killed anyone this whole playthrough, and I am terrified. But for my money, the greatest moment of this year was storming the beaches of Normandy in VR. Medal of Honor Above and Beyond gets a bad rap from game reviewers on Steam, but come on! This is a moment in the game I loved so much I went back and played it 3 more times just to truly experience every single thing that was going on in this level. I would actually argue that this level is a little bit revolutionary because unlike Call of Duty World War II, this level actually has a lot of gameplay. And I'm telling you right now that when this video does go up on the gaming channel, the subtitle for it is going to be the best video ever. Because god damn it, it's that good. By December 31st, 2020 ended up being a pretty disappointing year overall for video games, and that's not just because Halo Infinite got delayed into oblivion. Stormland is a VR game from Insomniac that decided to be Oculus exclusive. Amnesia 2 was plagued by all of the problems that made the first Amnesia game bad. That, and it was one of the most stressful games I've ever played. Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition made itself definitive for being actually worse than the original game. Or how about the simple fact that in Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, the Garand didn't go ping at first. I mean, it does now, but come on. All of these are terrible moments, but for my money, the biggest disappointment of this year was Destroy All Humans 2020. I was so excited for this game that we did a full playthrough of Destroy All Humans 2 on the gaming channel, and then when it came out, it was just so unsatisfyingly underwhelming in almost every way. The quality of life updates for the game make sure every mission is over in 2 minutes at most. All of the dialogue from the 2005 game ripped directly into this game makes the game feel old and clunky and almost broken at times. The AI for all of the game is stupid beyond belief, and then for the last levels they gain 5 billion brain cells because, oh my god, the difficulty curve there is atrocious. Destroy All Humans 2020 is a good game, but I feel like if it had one more layer of polish, it could have been perfect. Let me tell you how this franchise can redeem itself. You take what you did with Destroy All Humans 2020, and you remake Destroy All Humans 2, you get the worlds a little bit bigger, you make the missions a little bit longer, and you keep the witty humor from Destroy All Humans 2. Because, let's face it, Destroy All Humans 1 is funny, but Destroy All Humans 2 is funnier. I played a lot of VR games this year, and to my surprise, I enjoyed most of them. Boneworks is notable for not being nominated for any awards whatsoever, despite having extremely good physics and gunplay. Star Wars Squadrons, you're flying around in an X-Wing or a TIE Fighter or a Y-Wing, you're shooting down ships, oh my god, oh fuck, that's a good game. And just when we thought VR couldn't get any better, Respawn Entertainment comes out and says, oh, by the way, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, that's no longer an Oculus exclusive, that's coming to Steam VR. All of these are extremely good games, and all of them offer 10+ hour campaigns, which is good because there are not enough VR games out there creating 10+ hour campaigns. Most of these are gimmick games. What we really need are video games that take VR to the next level, and that is why Half-Life Alyx is absolutely the VR game of the year. Now, I know Half-Life Alyx has already won VR Game of the Year with every single other award show under the sun, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. They're right. All of them are right to give this game VR Game of the Year, because Half-Life Alyx raised the bar for VR games up to infinity. Valve took a look at what does and doesn't work in VR, made all of the stuff that doesn't work in VR, and then on top of that, you also got an entire bonus video game on top of a fantastic VR experience. Everything in this game is good, even this combine bastard with the light machine gun that kills you in 3 hits. The gravity gloves feel so satisfying and easy to use. Every gun in this game is a one-handed weapon because trying to use rifles in VR is still tricky. I can only hope that this is the first in a long line of Valve VR games, because if this ends up being the only one, then they are wasting their potential. Into the Radius was truly the only VR game I was unsatisfied with this year. I could rant on Hello Puppets purely for being a game from the people who made Hello Neighbor, a game that I hate so much I had an aneurysm. Unfortunately, I didn't play Hello Puppets this year, which I probably should have, then I would have had more than one thing to talk about on this category. Now, to be fair, the only reason I think I didn't like Into the Radius is because it's just not ready yet. That, and it's an open world game that kinda looks like an asset flip, so where do we go from here? The controls feel a bit clunky, the story is confusing, and the game just feels incomplete. Mostly because this is an early access game and it's not done yet. Hopefully I'll be able to come back to it later this year and be more satisfied with the results. Because I did not get a refund for this game. When a lot of people think of ongoing franchises, they think of games that just refuse to die, like Battle Royale games or League of Legends or other things like that, or an MMO, for example. But I'm thinking more along the lines of franchises that actually got an entirely new game. Insomniac, for example, brought out a game this year that makes you feel like Spider-Man. Makes you feel like Spider-Man. Legend of Zelda had another Hyrule Warriors, I guess. Gears of War decided to be a strategy game this year instead of being the usual fucking joke of a franchise. For a relaxing change of pace, Assassin's Creed decided not to be the suckiest game ever created by human beings this year. Instead, that award probably went to Watch Dogs Legion, or our worst game of the year. But for $60, the best ongoing franchise was... Yeah, that's pretty good. If we're talking about some of the worst ongoing games on the planet right now, it's probably going to come down to Battle Royale. I'm already on a train filled with people that don't like a game mode where 99% of the players have to lose, and that 1% is only exclusive to people who can build the Taj Mahal in 5 seconds. Apex Legends was on this list, and League of Legends was also on this list purely for the fact that it is League of Legends. Or, if I really wanted to beat a dead horse, I would go pick on Overwatch, that joke of a game. But the worst ongoing game is definitely Fortnite, because oh my god. Twitch highlight reels for Fortnite eventually come down to one thing. Players who have a 20-button mouse so that they can induce an epileptic seizure to everybody watching at home. Towards the end of 2020, I famously tweeted, "This is why nobody can watch people play Fortnite. It's all seizure-inducing and impossible to follow what's being built." And the worst part is, if you want to be good at Fortnite, you need to be that guy with the 20-button mouse. I can only hope that this is the year that Fortnite finally fades away and just becomes a game that people talk about every now and then. But the chances of that are growing ever slimmer by the day. Unlike a lot of people, I myself enjoy a good strategy game. Maybe not some grand strategy games like Hearts of Iron or some turn-based strategy games like Civilization, but I will buckle down and play a good real-time strategy game, and in rare instances, maybe even a turn-based strategy game. But the problem is, there isn't a lot of love for the strategy franchise, and that's why the list for this one is very small. Creeper World 4 was the latest entry in an ongoing franchise which is elegant in its simplicity. XCOM Chimera Squad kept the XCOM franchise alive and going with some more kick-ass turn-based strategy combat, but I feel that it was a step down from XCOM 2 or XCOM 1. But that's okay because you only spent $20 on this game, you moron. So with an extremely lax strategy environment, there was really no competition for Strategy Game of the Year. Iron Harvest knows what it is. Iron Harvest doesn't do anything crazy. Iron Harvest doesn't even revolutionize the real-time strategy genre. In fact, pretty much everything in this game can probably be accomplished with Men of War Assault Squad 2 mods. But what Iron Harvest does do is it takes every single thing that makes the real-time strategy genre great and puts it all on display. And on top of that, you also get giant mechs. You get 3 different factions with 3 different campaigns, one for each of them. Come on! This game's got base building. Real-time strategy games forgot how to do that shit. You got characters, you got cutscenes, you got a game that actually, holy shit, this game looks beautiful. I'm not even kidding, this game looks fucking gorgeous. As a result, I am now changing my most anticipated strategy game from Iron Harvest to Iron Harvest 2. Because holy shit, please make more of this. There was really only one game on this list this year, and that would be Age of Empires 3, which I barely played because you may have noticed that I like to play good video games. Like the original Age of Empires 3, because for some reason, Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition made the controversial decision to just be worse than the original game. The game released as a buggy mess. Native war chiefs can no longer tame wild animals because they said it was racist. You can't turn off the chat censorship, and for some reason, this game demands a lot out of your PC, when this was a game that was designed to run on computers from 15 years ago. So if I had to give you a choice and put a gun to your head and tell you to either buy Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition for $15 or the regular Age of Empires 3 for $40, I would shoot you if you clicked on Definitive Edition. I love Age of Empires, and Age of Empires 3 is my favorite Age of Empires. And this is a fucking joke. For this category, I have decided to never allow Bohemia Interactive on this list, because they only make bad games. Originally, Nintendo was on this list too, and then they pissed everybody off, so they're no longer on this list. Which means they don't get to hang out with the cool guys like Sucker Punch for making Ghost of Tsushima, or Respawn Entertainment for just being an awesome company in general that always makes awesome games. This year, I can actually nominate Valve for being an actual game developer for once. Electronic Arts is actually on this list for finally bringing their catalog to Steam and saying fuck you to Epic exclusivity and Oculus exclusivity. Come on, they're trying. They also haven't killed BioWare yet. BioWare is just sort of eating itself at this point. Now, if they just stopped fighting loot box legislation so damn heavily, stopped actually putting the loot boxes in their games, stopped ruining Star Wars for once, and actually made a new sports game, they might have a shot at winning. Then I wouldn't have had to give this award to Insomniac Games with their game that makes you really feel like Spider-Man. And if everything goes well with Ratchet & Clank this year, they might actually get me to buy that console. Because, let's face it, Insomniac is basically the only reason people are buying a PlayStation 5 right now. That and Bug Snacks, I guess. I could pick on a lot of developers this year. Take-Two Interactive, coupled with 2K, for example, were trying to raise the price of video games to $70 because greed. Bethesda sold their soul to Microsoft. Electronic Arts has made the same sports game for the past 15 years. CD Projekt Red was tasked with making the greatest game of the decade, and it came out half-baked and broken. All of these are terrible, terrible companies, but the worst developer of all of them is Mojang. Mojang is a fucking stupid company. They don't understand marketing, they don't understand how to run a business, and they sure as shit don't know how to develop the greatest selling video game of all time, Minecraft. Exhibit A, my 13-second review of Minecraft Dungeons. You can't have custom skins and you have to pick from a list. I already hate it. The only reason you have to pick from a skin list with this game is so that they can sell you skin packs down the line. This is literally a step down from the creative freedom we got with the original Minecraft. But that is Exhibit B, is the original Minecraft. Let me tell you how and how not to develop a game. First off, don't make 3 different NPCs and only add one of them. Don't let the community vote on which one to actually add. And if you absolutely insist on having the community vote on what you are adding, don't let Minecraft speedrunner jackasses rig the vote. And for the love of God, give people more than 20 minutes to vote on what is being added to the goddamn game. Because let's fucking face it, nobody wanted you to add glow squids. Raid Shadow Legends is the worst free-to-play game on the planet, and that is also why no mobile games are nominated in this category. There are not enough free games out there, and most of the ones that are make you pay somewhere. Helltaker is a notable exception, and it is nominated for this category, but I kind of wish Helltaker had more substance to it, and that's why it didn't win. Destiny 2 is a free game, and it might have had a shot at winning here. Unfortunately, it decided it wanted to be garbage towards the end of the year. This year, I played a free remake of Rock Raiders called Manic Miners, which I am actually voicing in. But I feel like that game runs into the same problem that Destroy All Humans 2020 did, in that all of the quality of life improvements make sure that all of the missions are over in 2 minutes. But beating out all the competition for sheer amount of content alone, the winner of Best Free Game has got to be Genshin Impact. I know I said no mobile ports, but let's face it, we're talking about the PC or PlayStation port with this, and the mobile port for this is actually garbage. There is a staggering amount of free content in this game. You get this massive open world, you get daily commissions, you get access to the entire storyline. If you actively play the game, you can actually get about 3 pulls on the lottery per day. It's not unheard of for players not to spend any money and actually get powerful characters. I got Klee while spending no money. Towards the end of the year, they added this massively cool new area, and you're up on a mountain and you're fighting dudes, and you got this whole new storyline that you can follow. It's all free. It's all free stuff. And if we keep getting cool content like this, and the Chinese government doesn't use this game to spy on us, there might actually be a game company in China that I actually like. Music is one of the great pillars of human culture, and it's only natural that we want video games to have great music. I personally love those big, booming orchestral scores with stuff like Iron Harvest or Star Wars Squadrons. The heavy metal numbers of Doom Eternal are good, but after a while they just sort of blend into the background of the game as you mindlessly slaughter demons. And unlike the Game Awards, I didn't like The Last of Us Part 2's soundtrack. It's got like one good track. Fuck you guys. But then again, I'm a tough audience when it comes to soundtrack. Every now and then I'll download the entire album, but that's very rare, which means it has to be really good. So, let me introduce you to a game called Hades. A game that is Greek-themed in every way, but has a very Western-sounding soundtrack. Now, I am not a music expert by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm just gonna let the soundtrack itself do the talking. If a game can get me to keep coming back for a straight week, they've done something right. 2 weeks is unheard of with me. A month was only pulled off with Persona 5. I love a good game that gets me to keep coming back, sometimes even years after the fact. Kerbal Space Program, for example, has kept me going for years. Foxhole has been pretty consistent, and Genshin Impact has actually kept me coming back every day to do my daily stuff. Sometimes you get a little bit more out of that, but you get the idea. But if a game could get me to keep coming back every day for a full year, then that's Animal Crossing New Horizons. When you first start in Animal Crossing New Horizons, you're living in a tent. Now, I have a market 1 year later. I'm growing pumpkins up on a hill. I'm celebrating New Year's on my friend's island. Look at my cute scenic overlook towards the back of the island. We're building a new space exhibit. We're selling tickets. You can buy those, except you definitely can't. That's not a real thing. I think one of the main things that keeps Animal Crossing New Horizons going so strong is the community behind it. Personally, I love it when it's late at night and I'm winding down for the evening, and then I turn on some Animal Crossing and I just play that and I drift myself off to sleep. Just a wonderfully chill game. Phasmophobia. No contest. I love ports, whether they're porting an old game to a new console or they're porting something from one console to the PC or something to the Switch. Pikmin 3 had an exceptionally good port, and I wasn't too sure about this one. The GameCube controls for the original Pikmin games were disastrous and very difficult to master. When Pikmin was ported to the Wii, it was revolutionary, and it became the definitive way you should experience those games. Now, when Pikmin 3 went from the Wii U to the Switch, they added the simple ability to lock on to what you wanted to aim at. This changed everything. Death Stranding had a PC port, I guess. Nintendo ported 3 Mario games to the Switch, and I haven't actually sat down and played any of them, but I did buy those, and I hear they're very good. RuneScape came to Steam and added the simple function of being easily able to log into the game. Now, originally, Pikmin 3 might have won this category, but that was until Sony decided it was time to port Horizon Zero Dawn to the PC. Whoa! Wow, that looks good! Oh my god! This game was never meant to be played with a controller. The mouse and keyboard controls for Horizon Zero Dawn make it so much better to play, so much more fun to experience, and holy shit, the graphics! The graphics! Ooh. I am running this on a 2060 Super, though. That might have something to do with it. Far Cry 5 is the worst game ever created by human beings. Unfortunately, that didn't come out this year. Otherwise, it would definitely have worst game of the year. So instead, we have a close competition between 2 games. The Last of Us Part 2 and this other game. Now, The Last of Us Part 2, when it came out, wasn't a buggy, incomplete mess. Unlike Cyberpunk, which did come out and was a buggy and incomplete mess. CD Projekt Red brought the hype factor for Cyberpunk 2077 through the roof, and then was met with the impossible task of releasing the most anticipated game of the decade, which just started. And yeah, it belly flopped. It belly flopped hard. There are certain systems that can't run this game. The PlayStation just crashes the thing. In fact, the way I hear it, the console ports for this game are having just a worse time overall. This has gotten so bad that the game was pulled from the PlayStation Store because it's so freaking broken. Not even Fallout 76 could pull that off. And they kept delaying this game because they said themselves it wasn't ready. It was just a bad situation all around. Oh, but at least they didn't port it to the Switch. Because let's face it, the Switch would have exploded.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
The Last of Us Part 2 didn't win. I didn't even know that my pick for Game of the Year was going to end up being Game of the Year until about a week before its release, when I suddenly remembered, oh right, that game was announced. How is it doing, by the way? Oh, it's coming out in a week. I guess I'll buy it, and then... Holy shit, this is a good game! Ghost of Tsushima is a game that is so good, I bought a sword. Everything about this game is meticulously crafted to be beautiful, satisfying, and hack and slashy. There is nothing more satisfying than chopping up a bunch of dudes flawlessly with a samurai sword, and then just standing there with the bodies beneath your feet, and then slowly you wipe the blood off of your blade, and then sheath your sword. Chills. Honest to God, chills. And the game is filled with stuff like this. Your healing system is literally your guide going, fight for the pain! This is a game made in America that's so good, even the people in Japan love it, and they usually hate our adaptations. I keep hearing rumors of a Ghost of Tsushima sequel, like a Ghost of Tsushima 2, maybe? And if these rumors are true, yes, we want that. Because this game officially puts Sucker Punch back on my map. And if this is the beginning of something awesome, I cannot wait to see what they come up with next. Kosenkan! Okay, the show's over now. And I still don't know how to end videos. So,